For landlords, by landlords. The Rent Perfect Podcast with David Pickron.
Well, hello and welcome to another episode of the Rent Perfect Podcast. We're glad you're here. We love it when you're here. We got a fun one today, Scott.
I'm looking forward to this.
We're really going to talk about where our country is. I think all of us in this investor world is going, how are we propped up the way we've been propped up? Mm-hmm. We've been calling a recession for years, and we're just like, what? We're in like unprecedented territory, right? The stock market's going crazy. But it's interesting because, you know, I'm a statistics guy. I love statistics. I love numbers. But I'm not naive to know you can't finagle the numbers, or there's more to the story behind the numbers. And I want to talk a little bit today about where we are with credit scores, okay?
Yeah.
And this country is great about painting the rosy picture. And I know you've had a study over there that you've been looking at and talking about. So tell us what you have over there.
Yeah. We just had graduation. High school graduation was last night, and this one popped up on my feed, and I thought it was just so interesting. So one of the things it says is it talks about in 2010, the average grade point average for our high school students was 3.17, which is a strong B. That's pretty good, right?
Okay.
And then in 2021, it went up to a 3.36. So we've seen over, what is that, a 10, 11-year period, a pretty good increase, right?
Well, higher GPAs are smarter kids.
Smarter kids, right? We have better kids that are getting better grades, right? So in that same time frame, 2010 to 2021, 22, the ACT score average went from 21 to 19.5. So kind of the inverse of what, you know, we see GPAs rising, but testing scores lowering. So the numbers really don't lie, right? I mean, there's something happening here where, and in my opinion, as we've kind of talked about this, I think that our teachers and things maybe are inflating GPAs. It's a little easier to, I'm giving Johnny a B+ on that.
Right, kind of pushing kids through the system.
Right. But when we really get down to the testing component, which is really a measurement of what our students really know,
right,
that's dropping. Right, so the relationship doesn't match up with the numbers.
Yeah, so there's some more.
Somebody's fudging something somewhere.
And I also notice a lot less kids take the ACT nowadays than they used to. It's almost like we'll even bypass.
Yeah, because I don't think most universities are even requiring an ACT score.
Just
anymore,
pay us their high tuition, and you're in the door. Right?
Yeah.
So there you go. So there's a way that, or there's an example of kind of fudging the numbers. Now I have a similar article here where over the years we've heard that America's FICO scores, credit scores, have been going up. They've been going up and up and up, and since 2013, 2014 they were better, up and up, until this year. Now they say, America's credit score's falling this year, right? So here's another thing thinking, hey, so have we really gotten better at our credit since 2013? Well, let me tell you what has happened. Close to that time point, we took out all liens, judgments, and evictions off the credit bureaus, okay? So we took off all that negative information. When you take off negative information on a credit bureau, what happens? Scores go up, right? Yep. Then we said, you know what? It's coming through COVID and stuff. Let's get student loan bad debt off the credit bureaus too. What happens when you take off bad debt on a credit bureau?
Everybody rises. Yep.
Right? And then they come out and they say, hey, listen, we don't want any kind of medical debt in the first year on credit bureaus, so let's take off the bad medical debt. Scores rise. But now all of a sudden, with all of those things taken off the bureaus, right, our scores are going down. And yet we've helped them go up by taking bad stuff off.
Right.
But now we can't help them go up any longer. Now we're having to face the facts. I mean, it's even got as bad as this over the last many years. When we report people's rent payments, they pay rent payment through Rent Perfect, we can only report the good rent payments. We cannot report if they haven't paid rent. So that gives you just an example of all these ways we're protecting people, and the government is regulating Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. To the point now where these credit bureaus have said, hey, what's our value anymore, right? We're reporting car loans, mortgage payments. Most renters don't have mortgage payments, right? And credit cards. And the only really way you can get a bad ding on your credit is if you don't pay one of those or someone goes to a collection agency on you and a collection agency files, right?
Yeah.
So these credit bureaus have come out and they've said, oh, shoot, we're kind of in trouble here. I mean, what value? We've kind of been neutered so bad. Mm-hmm. What can we do to save ourselves? So they came out with this thing called the Experian Boost. Have you seen the commercials?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Everybody wants a boost.
Everyone needs a boost, right?
Wants a boost. Yes.
It's a pay and play, right?
Yep.
You pay Experian, you upload your utility bills, you upload all these bills you pay, you prove you've paid them,
mm-hmm.
and they add that onto the credit bureau, and it's called self-reporting.
Yeah.
Right?
Which is fantastic. I love
we used to have these third-party reporting,
yeah,
and that we could really see if, not coming from your mouth, someone else is going to vouch that this is true. And now all of a sudden we have all this self-reporting going on. So
I'm hearkening back to our high school example from the beginning. I mean, I remember my high school kids. I'm like, hey, what time did you get home last night? The perfect example of self-reporting. I know, based on the Ring doorbell, that you came in at 1:30. Oh, I came in at midnight. Yeah, anyway.
Okay, I'm going to believe you because it's easy.
You self-reported. Okay, Johnny, you're great. Thanks for self-reporting. Good job.
So we are a self-reporting society.
Pretty
right
scary.
Now. In fact, if you use Zillow and someone wants to apply with your property and they contact you and it says average income $78,000, FICO score 685 to 725, that's them self-reporting, guys. Don't think Zillow is providing you those numbers. That is them filling out an application saying, what do you think your credit score is? How much money do you make? I was in New Jersey last week, and there was a question in the audience about self-reporting on Zillow, and I let them know, hey, these are people reporting that. And the lady goes, that makes so much sense. The guy said he made $78,000. By the time I verified his income, he made $200 a week. She's like, where does the $78,000 come from? I'm like, he duped you.
Right. Yep.
He got you to say, hey, I might have a good applicant here.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a higher income than what I have. So why do we go through this? Why do we go through these numbers? We can't believe any numbers that we hear. And quite frankly, I don't put as much weight on a credit score as I used to, just because I know what's going on in the background and I know what they've taken out and what they've neutered, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just that evictions aren't on there anymore, right? If someone has an eviction, all of a sudden their score is not affected anymore. Score used to go way down. They had a judgment on them, right?
Yeah.
Now it doesn't go down. And so, I recommend that as you're using credit scores right now, and they're going to be a little bit higher than usual because we've taken all the negative off, I would make sure I went down that credit report and I looked at the details of the credit report and just didn't rely on the scoring anymore, okay? And then we always solve the problem of paying your past landlord by getting bank statements and verifying payment was made through bank statements. So you've probably a whole podcast on that in the past. I won't go into it, but I just wanted to talk about numbers and reading these numbers. And if you're reading credit scores are going up over the years, and we're such a better country, it's all been finagled. It's not the case. Yeah. So be a smart investor, know what you're looking at, know what you can rely on, because we need to find you the right renter the first time, the one that's going to stay there for 5 years, the one that's worth $120,000 in your pocket. And we can't do that unless we know how the game is being played and what kind of information you're relying on. Scotty, thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet.
Just to add one more thing here, I was talking with a kid the other day, and I'm like, hey, do you guys have much homework in high school? And he's like, oh, no, they don't allow us to have homework anymore.
Do homework, yeah.
They can assign it to us, but we don't have to do it, and it doesn't count on our grades. And so it's just not the world we grew up in.
No.
Okay, and we're renting
Sadly,
to these,
yes.
And we're renting to these guys.
Yes.
I love it. No, we got a great generation coming up below that we need to rent to. We just need to understand who they are, where they're coming from, and how to analyze everything the right way so we can find the right person. And until next time, continue to rent perfect.